Hello and welcome to another session of Karen's Colours. I'm Dr. Karen and these are my colour conversations. It's that time again for another monthly reading, and this time we're going to be looking at each of your birthday months in terms of what will happen in December. For this month's reading, I've decided to use a very simple oracle card to accompany it. It's called the Mystic Journey Oracle, and it consists of a card with a single word. And let's see what it has to say that might accompany the readings that are to follow. I certainly hope you've been getting something positive out of the readings I've been doing this year. I'll continue on for a little while longer before I make a decision about whether or not to continue them. They haven't received a great deal of interest so far, but I'm extremely hopeful. And as Cash Peters would have it, just keep on. If it's your soul's journey, you'll get there. So that's where I'm going. All right, I'd like to welcome back those of you who have been following this series of sessions, and I hope that your colour readings for each month have had something of interest for you that's helped to guide you through that month. It has been a very tumultuous year across the world, and we're now coming to the close of it, and hopefully by the end of this upcoming month, we'll be back to some sort of normality for the new year for 2026. But for now, let's just look at December 2025. If you're new here, this is not the sort of reading that you would find in a tarot reading. This is done per month because we tend to resonate to our birth months regardless of our cultural backgrounds, and also because colours don't read quite the same as tarot cards do. But I hope you'll find it interesting enough to come back. Let's see, shall we? Very well then, let's begin. This is a card reading for those people born in the month of December for their birthday month. And firstly, we'll choose one of the Mystic Oracle cards. And, oops. They don't always want to do what you want them to. That's okay. And we'll take this top one and place it under here to look at later. And now I want a colour reading for people born in the month of December for December 2025. A colour reading for people born in December for their birth month. And we begin the reading with white on red. It follows through to brown on blue. And by the end of the month, we're looking at purple on black, and the underlying energy is purple on yellow. Looking at this, there's only one colour that has been repeated, and that is the colour purple. It appears in that part of the month that we are leaving as the action, and it also is the action in the underlying energy that will influence everything that happens throughout the month. So, what does this mean? Purple and yellow are opposites on the colour wheel, which means that in effect you'll be swinging from internal drives, internal motivations, through to actions which feed back to those motivations, which feed back to the actions. And it is a circular motion that continues throughout the month, but it's one that swings you from extremes. Yellow internally is basically associated with fears. It's associated with a sudden flash of knowledge that has caused some form of anxiety. And in the real world, the purple comes through as wanting to change things, as making major differences to your environment, to the way in which you are facing life, all sorts of different issues that involve any sort of change that's possible, but that change is driven by the knowledge that has been accumulated internally. And that knowledge, as I said, is associated with anxiety. So there's a fearfulness that permeates the month because this is your underlying energy. And that fearfulness causes you to make some fairly dramatic and sometimes even catastrophic types of changes. And those changes will in turn feed back into the fears because you never know exactly which way to go. That's what this particular combination is all about. Not knowing what you should do to make things better. So how does that affect the energy that you're bringing into the month? Well, coming into the month, you've got white on red. Red internally is the activator. It's the activator that is associated with a great deal of uncomfortable energy insofar as you'll find yourself virtually jumping out of your skin. There's a great deal of frustration that is associated with the color red internally. And in the real world, what you're actually doing about this frustration is you're expending that energy in all sorts of different directions without any real focus. So this is unfocused because you are not able to determine just where you should put that energy that is building up inside of you. When we add the underlying energy to this, we can actually get white over yellow. And white over yellow is always a flash of inspiration that occurs as a result of some sort of new knowledge. Now, this can be a positive thing, but it can also be a rather fearful thing. It can actually make the fear, the anxiety that permeates the month a lot worse. And the reason it does this is because the anxiety is internal, and in the real world, it's coming at you from all directions, but it's also heading off in all directions. So there's no actual grounding that takes place as a result of white on yellow. On the other hand, purple on red is rather grounded. This is a very, very positive combination. Red internally is all the energy that you need in order to create whatever healing, whatever changes that you need to make in the real world that will enable things to become better for you. Purple and red together is optimism. It is having not just hope, but a positive view, because purple in the real world is generally a positive thing. We do things to make things better. We don't do them to make things worse. And because you have the energy internally to do those things, you'll find yourself heading in a direction that will make you feel as though you're doing the right thing. But be careful, because the white on yellow does not necessarily lead you in the direction that you need to go. By the middle of the month, we have brown on blue. Now, brown and blue, while they are not opposites on the color wheel, because nothing is an opposite to brown as such, nevertheless, they have a lot of similarities. They're both colors associated with work. The blue internally is a need, a drive for some sort of stability in your life, some sort of organization. You want to be nurtured. You want things to be stable. In the real world, you're working hard to do that. Brown has got to do with actual motivations. It has to do with goals, with experience, with gathering of resources, and particularly gathering of skills. So while you need that nurturing, you need that stability, in the real world, you're actually creating it, which is probably a good thing, because when we compare that with your underlying energy, the brown on yellow means that whatever information is coming at you, whatever learning is taking place, whatever you find yourself needing to know about in the real world, it's actually helping you to create the sorts of skills that you require in order to do what you need to do. Purple on blue also has a fairly positive reading. That desire for nurture, that desire for stability that comes with the blue internally, can also be seen in the real world as creating the sort of environment that makes you feel as though you're having a good time. So purple and blue together have to do with a fair degree of having fun by creating the sort of environment around yourself that makes you feel comfortable. By the time we get into the future, however, things are starting to change, because while we still have the purple in the top here of both areas of what you're actually doing, that healing stuff that needs to be done, the making changes so that things go better for you, that you have more fun. Internally, you've gone from a state of almost fearfulness or anxiety, swung to almost the opposite, although black isn't really an opposite to yellow. Nevertheless, it's a closing down. You've actually find yourself reducing your exposure to new information. It's as though you've accumulated all the information you need. You've created the actions that are necessary in order to create a nice, comfortable environment as a result of having all this energy here that you had earlier in the month that has now been dissipated out. And now you've gone in the opposite direction to what you had here. Here it was all going outwards. Here it's all coming inwards. You've learnt to retreat. You've drawn within yourself. You're tired. You've had enough. There's been so much change in the whole of December for you that now you need to retreat. And when you retreat, you find you're giving yourself the space, the time to fix whatever it is that caused that retreat in the first place. Perhaps you worked too hard here. Perhaps you did something here that was too much of a challenge for you. Maybe you didn't quite have enough energy, enough resources to be able to carry that through. Certainly, the resources that you have here are the resources of intelligence and imagination. Here, it's imagination, but it's shut down. You've had enough. You want to have time out. And that's how you will find yourself feeling at the end of the month. And that doesn't really surprise, because December is the end of the year. Things tend to shut down generally across the world. And because things do tend to shut down, and I'm talking here everything from taking vacation time to businesses closing down to nobody's going to school. The whole business of that last week in December is one of quiet. Well, hopefully it's quiet, and it certainly looks like it's going to be for you. So let's have a look at the colours that are missing to see what you might like to do to help yourself out. You have black, and you have white, and you have red, you have yellow. But there's no green. You have blue, you have brown, there's no orange, there's no grey, you have purple, there is no pink, and there is no cyan. So in effect, the colours that you are using, the skills that are using throughout the month, are really quite wide in their variety. You have the three basic primary colours that we use in teaching children about colours. You also have a few, the black and white, which is the basis of all colour information, and purple and brown, which are probably the most important ones. Purple, definitely the most important one for the month. What you're not using is these 5 colours. You're not using the green, which is all about giving yourself space and the freedom to move to a different direction. Orange, the courage to face whatever it is, whatever the challenges are that you are being faced, particularly down here with this yellow, and to overcome them. The grey, the ability to find and tread the middle road. Pink, the ability to just simply allow things to happen, because pink is the colour of vulnerability, but it's also likability and accepting assistance when you need it. And cyan, which is about being able to create that bliss, that harmony, that peace and quiet, that absolute delight that comes with having everything in its place the way that you would like it to be. So out of those 5 colours, I'd like you to think about choosing the one that is most appealing and the one that is least appealing, and putting those 2 into your life in some way. make sure that you take note of those two colours throughout the month. And when you do so, you'll find that the sorts of things that are happening here that eventually lead you to this period of reflective quiet and recovery from whatever it is that's been happening throughout the month will actually be just that little bit easier by the incorporation of those colours. So let's now have a look at what it is that the oracle had to say to add to this. It says, hope. Hope. Hope is something that exists as a result of the expectations that come with what it is that you want to make better for yourself, for that healing energy. Well, it's a very interesting conclusion to this reading. Well, the reading has been fairly short this time. That's partially because of the time constraints. December is a very busy month for most of us, so I don't have much time, and I dare say neither do you. And I dare say that a shorter reading would be far more beneficial to you. But I do have an offer on the table. If you've gotten this far and you've actually listened to the entirety of the reading and you feel it has something in it for you, why not contact me on my Gmail account, which is in the description. I'll also put it in the show notes. And in doing so, take up an offer of a free personal reading that we can do either via Zoom, such as a discussion here and now, or I can do it anonymously for you. But you need to ask for it. The decision is yours. In the meantime, thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And if you have any questions or any comments to make, those would be appreciated down in the comments section, which tends to be fairly bare most of the time. Anyway, may you have a wonderful December. May the colours that you choose work for you in a way that enables you to feel at peace and in harmony with the world and all around. And let's look forward to a 2026 that is a little less chaotic than this year has been. Until next time, bye.